Yesterday at Easter Road, 10 men, Aberdeen went down 3-1 against Hibs. It is our third league defeat of this current campaign. Here's some stats to take from the game. Duke has now scored 3 goals in his last 3 games for Aberdeen, and for what it's worth, I don't think he should have been subbed off yesterday. And since Jim Goodwin took charge of Aberdeen, the Dons have only kept clean sheets in 4 of 19 league games. Next up for the Dons, it's Kilmarnock at Pittodrie after the international break on Saturday, the 1st of August. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock. This is what it means in terms of the table. Aberdeen have slipped into the bottom 6. We've gone from 3rd to 7th. But there is a pocket of teams between 7th and 3rd where, with the right result against Kilmarnock, coupled with results going our way, will get us right back in there. Good evening. A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV here on YouTube. This is the review show. So this is all about you guys getting in touch on YouTube and telling me what you thought of yesterday's game against Hibs. Later, I'm going to be talking to 3 members of 3 different supporters clubs, from the Western Isles to Inverness to Dubai. All of the guys give us their thoughts, as well as other stuff that we talk about, which I really hope you will find of interest. If you're watching for the first time, as this is the new time slot, you are more than welcome. I really hope you enjoy what you watch tonight from my studio here, not far from Salzburg. And believe it or not, there's snow on the mountains. It's unbelievable. We're only into September and there's snow in the mountains just over the back. There is really only one place that I wanted to start tonight's show, and that's with a quote that I've picked out from the manager after yesterday's game. He said this: "Roll on VAR is all you can say in those situations, I suppose. As managers, we're all frustrated when decisions go against us, and of course, sometimes they go for you and you get a bit of luck. But what we want is a level of consistency for those big decisions to be right more often than not. Having VAR will give us a better chance of that percentage going up and getting the right decisions." I will come to that in just a moment. Here are the stats from the game. We had 34.5% of possession throughout the 90 minutes. Our total shots on goal were 5, of only 1 was on target, which of course was Duke's goal, and what a goal it was as well. 2 off target. We only managed 2 corners in the game, and our passing rate was 68.6%. So, just before I introduce our first guest, I've been thinking about what was obviously the turning point in the game, which was the penalty kick. Now, yesterday, when I was on the big Saturday football show on North Sound 1, I may have been a little bit angry. And I felt there was an injustice and it wasn't a penalty. I've obviously slept on it. I've looked back on it today and I've spent a good 10 minutes watching it, going back and forward. And I absolutely stand by my comments yesterday. In no way do I think that is a penalty kick. Now, bear with me, because I want you to react to what I'm going to say. This is why I don't think it's a penalty kick. For the first 30 minutes, I thought we were doing just fine. But after 30 minutes, I felt we were far too deep and we were playing the ball out from the back a lot. And I felt what that was doing was closing the gaps between us and midfield, which then invited pressure from them. That pressure eventually led to the corner kick, which led to the penalty. Now, as the ball is hit for the corner kick, this is what happens. Ryan Porteous puts his right arm on Liam Scales' shoulder at exactly the same time that Liam Scales puts his right arm on Ryan Porteous' left shoulder, I beg your pardon. So, as soon as that ball is struck, the two of them already are wrestling for the ball. They've both connected. As the ball is coming over, at this point, Ryan Porteous takes 4 steps forward. In his 4th step, the two of them still have a hold of each other. And at this point, this is where I think personally he has conned the referee into giving a penalty, because he starts to make the move down. At that point, as he's going down, Liam tries to release himself, but he can't, because Ryan Porteous puts his right arm up over the top of his neck and drags him down in what is almost like a headlock movement. The referee, I've looked at the referee's position, he's looking clean at it. There's no obstruction, he's looking clean at it. Now, this is where I'm confused. This incident are 2 players who have got a hold of each other through that whole passage of play. So how can the referee give an advantage to the Hibs player when he can clearly see from the initial ball coming over, from the very first kick of the ball from the corner, the 2 of them have got a hold of each other. They're both to blame here, but yet the referee has given Ryan Porteous the advantage. And then to give Liam a second yellow for that also utterly baffles me. So those are my thoughts. I might be talking utter rubbish. You may think I'm talking utter rubbish. That's absolutely fine. Respect the opinion. Let me know, and I'll read out your comments as we go along tonight. Okay, let's introduce our first guest. If you are active on Twitter, you will know these guys quite well. Inverness Reds, a brilliant site, got great content going on. They got a fantastic website, and one of their members is a guy called Gav Box, who's a huge Aberdeen fan. I caught up with Gav earlier today to talk about yesterday's game. This is what he had to say. Hi Gav, great to see you as always. Thank you for jumping on again. Okay, so I know that you've watched the game, so I've just given my tuppence on the penalty incident and the second yellow card, but I do want your opinion on it. What are your thoughts?
I think it is. I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I can see where you're coming from. I think on another day you could get no penalty for that. Like even with the referee seeing it, I did think it was a bit soft, to say the least. My biggest problem with the whole thing is the sending off. If I'm totally honest. Yeah, it was never a sending off.
So what's interesting is that he has given him a second yellow card. So if the referee's mind process was he's denied Ryan Porteous a clear goal scoring opportunity, by the laws of the game, is that not a straight red?
No, it's a straight red. Yeah.
So why is he giving him a yellow then a red?
Yeah, exactly. And this is because I watched this back numerous times. I even went on to sport. I even watched Sports Scene to see if they could show us a few more angles. And I don't see how you can give a yellow card for that. I really, really don't. It's utterly perplexing to me. I mean, you see players manhandling each other like that all the time in at corners and set pieces, and you see players going down all the time. Yeah. And very often you don't even see a foul, but it's incredibly rare to see a booking for something like this. Quite frankly, I think the referee. I mean, I'd never heard of him before, and I do wonder if the occasion got to him, because it did seem that he was affected by the crowd during that moment.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you watch it back, you can quite clearly hear the crowd shouting for a red card, quite clearly. And I agree. I wonder if he was influenced by the reaction from the crowd. Overall, I'm not one for overly criticising referees, because I know how difficult a job it is for them. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he had a very good game yesterday. I thought he was very whistle happy. Didn't allow the game to flow, but that's an argument for another day. Okay, what about our game management after the break? What did you make of our game management? Sorry, Gavin, particularly the substitution of Duke.
I mean, well, you can understand why he took someone off. I mean, you can understand why he took someone off, but and there wasn't really a good option for that. But in terms of game management, Palvada came on. He didn't really do a great deal. I mean, it's not an easy situation especially Easter Road, to to play with 10 men. And I will give credit where it's due. I did think Hibs were at it. I mean, prior to the sending off and the penalty, I thought for the 15 minutes that led up to that, it was pretty much all Hibs. I thought we'd really kind of like gone back into our shells after a reasonably promising half hour. But with regards to the game management, yeah, I mean the second half it was just really disappointing. You're down 10 men. Let's be honest, we were all hoping let's just not concede again, get out with a point, and we'll all be quite happy with that. But yeah, it was the second half was really really disappointing, despite the fact that we were down to 10 men. I felt, and in terms of the game management, I'm not really too. I'm wary of maybe of getting too critical of Goodwin over this, because I'm not really too sure what much more he could have done in terms of the changes made. But I was definitely disappointed with the second half performance, and in particular the two goals that we conceded, which were very poor.
Oh, I know. Don't get me started, especially on their second goal. Deary me.
I
Gav,
know.
listen, it's great to have you on, as always. Thank you so much. I
No
guess all we
problem
can
at
do
all,
now
Ari.
is
Thanks
just...
for having me.
Oh, pleasure. It's just dust ourselves down, get up and go again in a couple of weeks against Kilmarnock, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a Pataudry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Derek McInnes' first trip back, so that'll be. I hope he gets a nice welcome.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. And they're struggling at the moment as well. So, yeah. But why is it? It's always the hope that kills us, eh?
Definitely.
Brilliant, mate. Lovely to see you. Catch
Right,
up with
cheers,
you
Ali.
soon.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Many thanks, Gav. Still got plenty to come tonight. Many of you on YouTube tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's an absolute pleasure having you with us tonight. Let's go through some of your comments. Kevin Turner. Hi, Kevin. I thought ultimately the better team won, but the quicker we get VAR started up here, the better. Feel Duke going off was harsh. Completely agree. Respectfully, I thought Jim got that one wrong. Paul Donaldson. Hi, Paul. I think the look on Jim Goodwin's face during the interview with Rob post-match, just after Ryan Porteous walked past in the background, says it all. A picture paints 1,000 words. Monifeith Arrow, hope I've pronounced that correctly. How you doing? Whatever preparation went into getting the players ready clearly didn't work. Forget about the second half. Yeah, I agree. I thought we were awful in the second half. There was no fight or spirit, but that first half was so uncomfortable to watch. I take your point. As I said, I thought we were okay for 30 minutes, but after that, very poor. Monifeith goes on to say, maybe a penalty. They were both guilty of something, but no way a red. Agreed. Scott W. Hi, Scott. I don't even think Scales' first booking was a foul. Immediately before that, Ramadani was fouled, and that wasn't even looked at. Scott also goes on to say, I felt the ref was fairly neutral in his shocking decisions. I agree. Thought he had a poor game. Until Hibs got their first penalty claim. From then on, he gave everything Hibs. I'm with you. Harry Butler. Hi, Harry. How you doing? I don't think it's denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity because Porteous wasn't in control of the ball. Deliberate pull in the box, foul and only a yellow, but Porteous was obviously the main offender. I agree. He also goes on to say, did the change of formation have an effect on Aberdeen? Two up front to compensate for no Clarkson, no depth on the bench either, no centre-back on the bench. That is a big issue, I think, for many fans at the moment, is the fact that we do not have cover in that position. And yesterday, also, I just want to chuck in my tuppence worth here. I said on the preview show yesterday and on the Big Saturday football show that I felt it was really important that Aberdeen stopped Hibs' supply. Now, I mean this with the greatest respect to Dante. I don't think he was the right guy to come on at that time in the game. I think Hibs have a very combative midfield, a very aggressive midfield, and I'm not sure that Dante was the player suited to that role. And when it came to stopping the supply, Chris Cadden, for the second goal, Chris Cadden picks the ball up and is allowed to drive Aberdeen's 18-yard box. Dante did not do enough to close him down or stop that passage of play, which then obviously led to Josh Campbell having the freedom of Edinburgh, because Anthony Stewart, whose birthday it is today, by the way, I don't know what Anthony was doing, but he gets dragged out far too far left. He should have just held his position. And then because Ross is not a natural centre-back, I don't think that his natural instinct is then to come in here and cover. Hence, the huge gap for Josh Campbell to exploit and slot home. At that point, it was game over. Guys, keep your comments coming in. It's fantastic to see so many of you on the show tonight. Right, let's get some more thoughts from members of supporters clubs. I was absolutely delighted earlier today to speak to James McCaskill from Lewis and Harris Supporters Club, who do an unbelievable amount of travelling to Aberdeen games. They travel all the way from the west side of Scotland. They're a great bunch of supporters over there, and I was really delighted to have caught up with James earlier today to talk about the game and the supporters club. Hi James, it's great to see you. Good morning. Thank you so much for jumping on. Right, before we start talking more about the supporters club, I know you watched the game yesterday. Just give me your general thoughts on what you think happened yesterday.
I think, to be honest, looking at the two teams, I thought we had a strong lineup yesterday. So I was quite surprised to see how the game went. I thought Hibs actually played with a lot more fluency than we did, from the back to the front. I thought there was a wee bit of a lack of cutting edge in the final third. And to be honest, even when we lost that our 11th man when Scales got sent off, which was ridiculous, I didn't see the game changing that much. Hibs maybe created a few more chances and there was gaps appeared, but they appeared in the defence in our back line. And I really didn't think that, we still had 4 men at the back, so why those spaces appeared, I think. But yeah, I just don't think there wasn't a huge amount between the teams, to be honest. But it appears to me that still in the bedding in process of the team, some good games, and maybe yesterday showed that we're still gelling as a team.
Yeah, I think we're still very much learning as well. And I really hope that during the international break that lessons are learned, because we have to sort ourselves out defensively going forward. Okay, let's start talking a little bit more positively. Let's talk about the supporters club. So first and foremost, how long has the supporters club been going? When did you found it, let's say?
It's been going for quite a few years. It did used to run previously here. It's probably about 8 years since we've kind of started up again. It kind of comes in spells, as a lot of clubs and committees do, and then new people take them on. But I just at some point decided there's nothing happening here. Let's get a bit between our teeth. And there's a lot of Aberdeen supporters on the islands, and you see them, you bump into them at the games. So I thought, well, let's get something together.
What I've always loved about Aberdeen fans in particular is the commitment to going to away games in particular on a Friday night or a Wednesday night. Look at the Annan game. Just the commitment is for me unrivaled. So can you give me an idea of a typical day at Pittodrie? What time do you set off in the morning and what is your journey like?
So, well, setting off in the morning, sometimes it's setting off the day before.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the journey wise, we're getting up for a ferry. So maybe getting up at 5:30 in the morning, myself and the boys and any other supporters locally, hitting that ferry at 6:30, leaving the island, getting over to Ullapool, about 9:30, heading through to Inverness. And, it's a drive then through. So you're looking at maybe 3.5 hours drive from Ullapool through to Aberdeen.
Okay.
And, that's setting us up for the day.
And do you stay overnight in Aberdeen or do you come back?
More often than not, we'll stay overnight in Aberdeen.
Okay.
Sometimes maybe head back through to Inverness for the night, and then before we make our way back to the island. But there is a big commitment, from a time perspective as well as financial.
Yeah, I can completely imagine, because obviously you guys have full-time jobs and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really pick and choosing, as much as you'd like to be there, I'd be there every Saturday if I could, but as much as you pick and choose the games that tie in best with your job.
Okay, right. So tell me a little bit more about the supporters club and what you guys do outside of actually going to the games. Do you have get-togethers? Do you do any sort of fundraising? Do you have golf days? What else do you guys do?
So some of these activities, they're very much in the infancy stages.
Okay.
There's a lot more people that have shown interest in what the club's doing and we're looking to establish, a better working committee so that we can organise a corporate visit,
okay.
Things like that, and just general get-togethers, working organising a session in a club locally so we can get together for some of the games, things like that. I mean, even on the island itself, we're all spread out so widely, so can be quite difficult getting us all together. The technology like this works well, but it's better when we're all getting together.
Sure, absolutely. James, listen, thank you so much. It's been lovely talking to you, and it's lovely to meet you as well. And I think you guys are doing a wonderful job. And very best of luck for the future. I hope you get more members on board as well, and continue to enjoy your travels all over Scotland following the team.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Ellie.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
There we are, James McCaskill. James, thank you for coming on. What a fantastic bunch of boys and girls they are, who make such unbelievable sacrifices to follow the team the length and breadth of the country from their base way out in the Western Isles. And we've got one more interview to come shortly from the Northern Elite Supporters Club out in Dubai. I'll be speaking to Gary in just a moment. But let's keep reading some of your comments. Guys, thank you so much for being in touch tonight and watching the show. I'm absolutely delighted that you're on board tonight. Kevin Turner said, I thought the best player was probably Kelly Roos, who kept the score low. Kelly Roos was unbelievable. What a signing this guy has been. I completely agree. Monifaith also says, agree with Kevin. Roos and Coulson didn't let themselves down. I think Hayden Coulson is absolutely fantastic. What a player this boy is. Do you know how good he was? So Martin Boyle, who we all thought would be Hibs' major threat, started on the right wing. Within 15 minutes, he was over on the left wing because he was getting no joy out of Hayden at all. I just wish he wouldn't keep going off injured. That's the only thing. Paul Donaldson has said, Scales was a huge loss after he was sent off. If he had stayed on, but Hibs had still scored a penalty after the incident, I think we still kept it at 1-1 going into the second half. Completely agree. As soon as Bojan Miovski missed that chance in the second half, I knew it just wasn't our day. On another day, they've scored that one. Yeah, didn't have his best of games yesterday, Bojan, but he'll be fine. No worries there. Neil Reid, hats off to the guys in the Western Isles. Absolutely. Brilliant bunch of guys. Keep the comments coming in, please, guys. Right, let's catch up now with Gary from Northern Elite. So, first of all, let me just do some housekeeping for them on their behalf. So they do an annual golf event. It's their golf day out in Dubai. And they have a Just Giving page where they raise money which they then donate to the Aberdeen Football Club Community Trust. They do a fantastic job out in Dubai. They're always raising money for the Community Trust. They're a fantastic bunch of boys and girls out there who follow the team religiously. And I was really delighted to have caught up with Gary from his home in Dubai earlier today. And we spoke about the event, and we also spoke about yesterday's game. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for jumping on. Really appreciate your time because I know how busy you guys are. First of all, give me your thoughts on yesterday's defeat.
Yeah, I mean, always a bit disappointing to not get a victory. The whole thing swung around that penalty, and if things were different, then maybe we might have came out with something. But unfortunately, it didn't. So we need to move onwards after the international break. But still remain the same. Cautiously optimistic, I would say. Cautiously optimistic.
Nicely put. I couldn't agree more. Right, let's talk about you guys, the Northern Elite. So, how long have you guys been together?
So, it's myself. I really got involved with it just in the past sort of 4 or 5 years, etc. But people like Kevin Black and such like have been kicking around with the Northern Elite back to 2003, 2004. John Hewitt was involved with it when he's came across. Joe Harper actually mentions Northern Elite in his book.
Oh,
There's some fantastic photographs of Joe Harper in his book. So it's been around for a long time. And, back in the early 2000s, there were, several football teams, under 5s, under 11s, under 17s and such like. So it's been around a long time, and has really kicked on again in the past sort of 3 or 4 years. The joys of WhatsApp has made it very easy, right?
Now, you guys have got a very special fundraising day for the Aberdeen Football Club Community Trust. You've got a golf day. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, we did the golf day last year, and that was very successful. We raised £15,000-20,000 for various charities in the northeast, including the community trust. And as we were doing that, the thing that got me, I remember we had a signed Diego Maradona top, and it went for whatever it went for, and the thing that got me is somebody had paid £6,000, £7,000, £8,000, £9,000 for that top. Wow. But of course, the second place person now didn't provide any money to charity. So my thought was, well, hang on, we're missing out on a lot of opportunities there. So the golf day is happening on the 1st of December, and we'll have all of the daily raffles and prizes and silent auctions and all of those sorts of things. But what we've done is we've opened up a Just Giving page, justgiving/Northern Elite, and the idea is that we can that people can donate in advance of the golf day, so that when we start the golf day, that we start with cash in the bank, if you like. I've spent a bit of time talking to Liz Bowie at the trust. They're delighted. They've supported with a couple of prizes. We have Johnny Hayes and Joe Lewis giving up some time to join some other fans for a 4-ball. We've got some shirts, etc. So I think we'll have a good day, and ideally, what I would like to do is to allow this interface to go global, that people can make donations all around via Northern Elite to our golf day, that all goes back into one of the most successful charities in the northeast of Scotland.
Fantastic. Gary, thank you so much. I think what you're doing is absolutely wonderful. And let's talk again leading up to the golf day. I'm sure it will be a huge success. So the very best of luck with it. And I will speak to you again very soon.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Pleasure. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Many thanks to Gary for coming on to the show. Just one last reminder, Northern Elite Supporters Club out in Dubai, raising money for the Aberdeen Football Club Community Trust. There are the details of their Just Giving page. They are playing their annual golf event in December, and no doubt I'll be catching up with them before the event. So well done, lads, and the girls down there as well. Absolutely brilliant. Right, just before we finish off, just a couple of more comments coming in. Paul Donaldson asked, does anyone know why Hayden Coulson came off and Jack McKenzie was brought on? I think Hayden was injured. Coulson was having a good match. Did he pick up a knock? Yeah, I think he did. I think that's why the reason he came off. Monifeith goes on to say, it was good seeing Scott McKenna in the lower tier on Saturday. He was one of our own, was the chant when he was noticed prior to kick-off. What a brilliant guy Scott is. I'm actually hoping to catch up with him for Beg's Banter interview, so keep an eye on socials for that. And Kaiser's come on. A bit late the night. Aye, where have you been, Kaiser? Is everybody as depressed as me? Yes, mate, we are. Guys, we're done. Thank you so much for interacting tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have been watching for the first time, I really hope you can subscribe and come and join us here as we continue to build the channel going forward. We've got, as I keep saying, got lots and lots of plans. So yeah, we won't be back for another couple of weeks. So all we can do is dust ourselves down, pick ourselves up, and go again against Kilmarnock on the 1st of October. Guys, thank you so much for being with me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a fantastic week ahead. Take care. Bye for now.